went on InfoWars to talk to Alex Jones about how he really feels about trans people. We have a clip. You know how down bad he is for her.
Day.
We'll see if it works. Mr. Whiskers, give one to Button Mash Fiction. Thank you. Right. Let's see what happens. He's going to say it? No way.
So Blair's here for the next hour and a half. I appreciate you, fellow Austinite now. Lived here a few years. Great to have you here. You and Michael Malice and Joe Rogan, co-hosting, doing a great job. We co-hosted here about a year ago with Tim Pool. That was amazing.
So fun.
And so I just want to say this up front. There are people that watch this show, and it became a big issue a few months ago, saying Jones is a hypocrite. He hates transgender people. He hates gay people. He hates everybody.
Panator said, say something nice, or is deemed say something nice. What were those pills he used to take, the before and after? Alex Jones, before, after. What was that? What was that pic? You know the one. This is the one right here. What is this for? What product was this for? Rachel Maddow showed it. Amazing. 45 days later. Selling a supplement. He did get redder. He looks like he's been taking the supplements. He looks great. Looking like a supplement taking Alex Jones.
But then he's nice to Blair White. That's all a media lie. I don't care if you're heterosexual, homosexual, whatever you are, black, white, old, young, as long as you're not a communist, as long as you're...
I'm a communist. Whoops. Not really. But, enough. Enough to where he would think I'm a communist. I'm a communist in spirit. I don't think we'll ever get to be communists, so I am practically a, SOCDEM, I guess, but not ideologically. In practical terms, I would like to achieve some kind of mixed market solution by the end of my life. But if the revolution happens, I'm a commie, dude. Big, dirty commie.
You're not targeting children, and Blair, since I've known Blair 8 years, was speaking up about this targeting. That Blair's a good person.
Before anyone else, by the way. Like, before it was a national topic, before, every headline was about trans kids and
Blair White was the first trans
which states are banning whatever. I was talking about this forever ago. No. So,
dude, the mixing on this is terrible.
So let's talk about you instead of me ranting here. I just want to say you've been my friend.
Looking at the camera.
Good friend since you moved to Austin. Part of this is we see a 270-pound man who looks like Hulk Hogan,
right?
And he starts breaking stuff, saying it's ma'am. We see that as a fraud. He's a fraud.
We're doing the ma'am thing. Was that like a GameStop or a gas station? Did you know that trans people get to have a bad day? First of all, there is something about being a minority person in any culture, but specifically the United States, where if you are not a model minority, they lose their fucking minds. It's crazy to bring this person up. It's just crazy.
Former prisoner, he's a convict, he's doing this because it lets him be in general population with women. That's a fraud. But we see somebody that has transitioned and
they're always stuck in 2012.
A woman by every aspect, and I think people kind of like
a woman by every aspect except for her cock. Her cock, Alex?
Get like, okay, somebody made that decision because that is actually
interesting. Transphobe likes girl dick. Huh? Getting there. The girl dick conversion therapy. The right-wingers are rife with girl dick conversion.
See what they were. And if people can realize if it's not attached to a political thing, we don't hate you. We then go, oh.
He's just attracted to her, so she's fine. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, that makes sense. Blair White, looks like a woman, is a woman, compared to what these giant
trans medicalists. You can't be a big buff lady? There are cis giant ladies.
Men are who just want to be in general population with women in prison.
Right, and that's the unfortunate.
They just want to be in general population with women in prison. That's what trans people want. That's their striving motivation.
Part is that we have this society that is obsessed with tolerance at all costs.
What mic are they using for her? What the fuck?
Obviously, and inclusion at all costs.
Sounds like
and
dog
so
shit.
There are literal convicts and people who commit crimes, sometimes violent ones, that understand that at the very least, them saying all of a sudden that they're trans is going to maybe not get a sentence reduction, but it's going to place them in a little bit of a nicer prison. It's going to place them in a little bit of a nicer situation. And, a lot of them are also, that's the other thing. Okay, if we want to go deep, there's really several types of trans people.
There's types of trans, they're like Pokemon. True. Chat, are you what element trans are you? Are you a water trans? Fire trans? Which one? Psychic?
Trans.
Ghost?
There are people who
cadmium
felt that way from a very young age and then whatever, like me. And then there are people who do it for a fetish and it's like a sexual thing. And those ones are very different. Those are the ones that there's going to end up being.
They're the perverts in the bathroom.
100%. Where
the perverts in the bathroom that don't exist.
Whereas for me, there was nothing ever sexual about it. It was just about who I was and what I wanted to do.
I would say, like, you put you in front of 10,000 people, they say that's a woman. Do you think it was the chemicals that because we know the studies are there.
The chemicals?
There that embryonically put you that direction?
What?
I'm not writing it off. I mean, I've thought about it a lot. I think, like, okay, so what caused this? Because it's clearly an anomaly, right? Even at best, the trans community.
But we shouldn't be mad at you for that. This is who you are.
Right. I mean,
we shouldn't be mad at you? ? Dude, I love that she puts herself through this shit. She deserves this kind of shit, man. If anyone deserves the constant micro and macro aggressions, it's fucking Blair White.
A society has room for anomalies. I think the problem
I will not have mercy. You can interrupt this with a booty party, though. We will continue to watch it after, though.
Is when you try to make anomalies normal. In by definition, it's not normal.
Whoa, that is.
I'll skip the video if we get a level 3.
Say that is heavy. Exactly. I don't hate the anomaly that's obviously legitimate. I hate a force thing on our children.
Right.
A forced thing on our children. No one's forcing kids to do anything. There you go. You're good.
They can understand that a society is always going to have anomalies. There's going to be people that don't fit into certain expectations, and
why is the
disarray comes
scuffed?
when you try to normalize it to the extent of teaching it in schools, putting it in curriculum.
Blair White, do you think it's reasonable for a school teacher to acknowledge that trans people exist? Simply acknowledge it. Talk about it in the history books. This is going to be a thing in classes, right? They will talk. So the civil rights movement was a thing. They're also going to talk about the trans rights, the LGBT rights, pride movement. It's all about history. It's just about, it's the truth. We're simply going to talk about the truth. Do you think it's reasonable to talk about the truth, Blair White / Alex Jones? Because the truth is, trans people exist. You agree that there are at least some of them that are valid. So let's talk about that.
It's one thing to teach your kids that when they, as they go through life, they're going to see people that are different than them or gay or trans or whatever. It's another to be like, so what do you identify as to a 4-year-old? Like,
nobody asks a 4-year-old what they identify as. What? Have you ever talked to a 4-year-old? A 4-year-old, you'd be like, what do you identify as? And they'd be like, what? Can we watch Paw Patrol? Where's my tablet? Can I have candy? I drank 3 Cokes. That's too many Cokes. I got a hold of them. You hid them from me, but I'm a crafty fucking toddler, and I found them. I found the cookies you were hiding. I found, hey, look, I just did something crazy. I'm a toddler. Like, no one's taking the opinions of toddlers seriously. If there's a toddler that has genuine gender issues, that's a very sophisticated toddler. But also, like, you're just going to be like, okay, so why do you feel bad that we call you Kevin? Okay? And Kevin, the little toddler Kevin, is like, well, I feel like I should be Blair White. I feel like, that's how toddlers talk. Wow, I saw one trans person and I caught it. Man, it's just so stupid. Think about life for a second. When you were a toddler, man. Anybody tell you how to live? The fucking heterosexuals and straight people sure did. Now that's grooming, baby. Oh, a little heartbreaker. Oh my God, you got a little girlfriend? Wow. Sexualizing kids from the earliest age. Wow. if I was 30 years younger. Okay. Person's 14.
Like, that's nuts. You know, it's planting a seed of doubt. So, you know, being an anomaly isn't normal, and I don't think not being
Ladies' man on a onesie. Oh my God, yeah. I was legitimately 5 years old, and I had a friend. Her name was Sarah, not the same Sarah. Her name was Sarah, and we liked each other. Like, we didn't like each other like romantically. We were children. We were friends. But our parents, both of our parents, said that we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And we were like 5 years old, and we're like I remember being a kid and being confused why my girlfriend didn't show up ever again. Like, we were friends for a little bit, and then like the family like sold the house that we have a little shitty cottage on a lake in my family that we used to go visit, and then they were neighbors, and I think they moved. Like, they didn't keep the house or whatever that they were visiting, and we never saw each other again. And so I was confused as a kid. I was like, wait, I thought I had a girlfriend or stuff. Like, I'm a little toddler. I'm like, wait, where's my girlfriend? And then I just didn't have my friend there. But they like built it up. It was so weird. I never did that. We just played in the fucking sand. We were children. We walked around and we did stuff. We were children playing toys and stuff. Took years to get over the idea that it was all a made up joke. Yeah, it was so weird. I didn't have an abandonment issue though. I was just like, wait, I thought my friend Sarah, who I was looking forward to hanging out with, was going to be there because my parents and her parents said that we were a thing. We're supposed to hang out. It's what we do. And she never showed, like, you know, by the time I was like 7 or 8, she just wasn't, you know, her family didn't show up anymore. I don't remember my childhood, so can't have trauma. We're not going to unpack that now, Toxicata, but it might be worth it at some point to just go through that.
normal is about.
I know that's not what people want to hear, but I swear to God, on the other side of that is a better thing. It sounds like trauma. Like, I know a lot of people like that. Yeah, I can't have trauma if we don't acknowledge it. True, fucking based. I get it. Well, if you guys ever need any support, well, we got you. Wow, that is a fucking. I didn't realize the pause face was like this. I need to. Hold on. I actually want the title of the video in here. Incredible, dude.
Bad thing. Like, you're not normal.
Definitely not. We know the chemicals in the water and the food are affecting embryos in their mothers, particularly in the first few weeks, that are...
Alex Jones telling his friend, Blair White, by the way, I think you're a mutant.
Changing, at least in brain physiology, the minds of children. And it changes the minds of frogs, fish, other mammals. So it really is true.
The microplastics? No.
That's going on, and that is happening. And so when I first talked about this decades ago, they would attack me all over the news because they were really scared that I was pointing it out.
Yeah,
but now Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has talked about it and so much more.
He can't get them out.
So we're not saying people are bad because of the proclivity
the thing
of what has happened in a genetic mutation in the embryo, because all embryos, for those who don't know, starts out as female, and in the first few weeks it then shifts and then expresses. It's why men have nipples. It's literally,
it is why men have nipples.
We start out as a female. This is all mammals do, and then if it depends on the XY chromosome, we shift over to that. They are literally knowingly putting chemicals out that.
So Alex Jones has girl dick confirmed. True.
Do this. So we have to understand this has been done. We can't hate the people it's been done to. It's up to them to decide now what they want to do.
Trans people have existed long before, like, whatever he's talking about, by the way. This is not the answer.
But the system then coming after children, mentally ill children, autistic children that aren't showing the genetic
mentally
event,
ill and autistic
to then target
children
them is part of something larger that I see as the sterilization of children, and that's really what they admit this is the popularization of sterilizing children. That's why they need to become adults. Like you did, they need to make a decision as an adult. So I'm going to shut up because I'll talk forever, but I watch your show all the time. You're just as well-spoken as I am when I'm not interrupting. So I'm going to shut up for the next 10 minutes, Blair.
Yeah, so,
I don't think he is.
Obviously it's...
You think he's going to shut up for 10 minutes? How far do you think he gets? Well, he doesn't. 2 minutes. Let's go.
One of the things that I get the most backlash for is my stance on trans kids and how there is a social contagion.
Blair White X is the name of the fucking... Is it? It is. Why is it Blair White X? Huh.
Happening. There is a,
I'm coming. I'm animated. I'm alive. My heart's big. It's got hot blood going through it fast. I like to fight too. I like to eat. I like to have children. Woo! I'm here. I got a life force. This is a human. This is what we look like. This is what we act like. This is what everybody was like before us. This is what I am.
Media-fueled, government-fueled push to, put kids through this pipeline of sterilization, of surgery, of hormones. And it's just so crazy to me because, like I said earlier, I transitioned as an adult. This is a conclusion I came to that was right for me. I'm all about, individualism.
When did Blair White begin her transition? She might have barely been an adult, 16.
And 20. Bodily autonomy and just doing what's right for you.
Do you think she says she knew when she was 5, though? She can bring that up.
And unfortunately, these kids aren't doing.
She transitioned in her late teens, but she says she knew at 5.
What's right for them in almost every case. It's what's being told for them to do. There's a very sick and twisted.
Chat, type just the number. When did you know? When did you know, chat?
That is told to the parents of these kids and to the kids themselves, which is that, I'm sure you've heard, like, do you want a trans kid or a dead kid is what they say. And it's like, why would you put that dichotomy, that false dichotomy in front of these kids?
The kids aren't being taught that they're going to be dead? What the fuck?
Transition or you're dead.
Right. You're putting that in their head. You're making them feel like those are their two options. And frankly, I mean, any person, any human being who is
21, I knew that Blair was
concerned at all, whether subconsciously or consciously, with self-preservation and living, they're going to choose to be trans over dead. So, it's brainwashing. And I wish
no one's telling their kids you will die if you don't transition. Brain dead. These people are fucking brain dead.
I fully understood why the government has been pushing it as well, because I understand why the media would. They're very obsessed with wokeism. They're very obsessed with latching onto groups, and nothing really gets, clicks like the trans either.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then. What is it?
She keeps looking at the camera, dude. She is so self-obsessed.
Like to watch giant biological men in boxing and MMA and swimming in track and field in everything, literally beating the snot out of biological women. I've heard you talk about it. Like, they're hijacking and saying you represent them. You don't support that.
No. It's sick, really. I mean,
I guess he's talking about sports. Blair, big sportser.
It's like an SNL sketch. It's just like a joke.
So trans people are not, in fact, dominating sports. There's nothing else I can say about that besides the truth. They're just not dominating sports. Some trans people will eventually win a sports. It's the nature of sports. Be better, simply.
You can believe your own two eyes when you look at it and you see that it's a problem. You don't have to go into the weeds of, well, what do hormones do? And
didn't Alex Jones get caught watching trans porn multiple times?
What about, the height or the bone
Yeah, chronic multiple times. See, we got the same words.
mass or whatever? You can list out all those facts of why a biological male is always going to have an advantage, but you don't have to even do that because you can just see it. Like, you look at Leah Thomas standing next to the women in the competition, and it's like...
Leah Thomas didn't destroy the competition.
Pull up Leah Thomas. He's like 3 feet taller.
Right.
Whereas your bones look like a woman. So I think
You have woman bones. You have bones.
Biologically, people say it's like, well, you look like a woman. I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. It's like Andre the Giant versus girls.
100%. And, the other thing is, I'm a
Can't be a tall girl.
double anomaly in the sense of usually trans people who actually transition like myself, they don't
Who actually transition? You guys have hollow bird bones?
want to be on camera like this. They don't want to have a career in the public. They want to blend into society. So that's the other thing stacked against them is they don't speak out because what's in it for them,
So it's perfect to steal their identity.
Oh, it's perfect. It's a small group. And then even within that, the ones that are really trans usually just want to live, quiet lives. Whereas, I'm out here running my mouth every day, but that's just because I'm called to do it. So
All of us are trans.
Called to do it.
All of us are being hit with synthetic chemicals, biologicals, radiologicals, electromagnetic. They're giving us
I don't think I'm trans, actually.
shots, not just the COVID shots, that give us this
I'm just not.
protein, the alpha gal syndrome, where we can't eat meat anymore. They have mutated us. We are all mutants. We are all being attacked. We are all being targeted. This is the reality. And instead of hating people,
Yeah, this sounds like his old script. Yeah, he's just back on his old
that have been hit by this, we should talk to them, understand, because we're all in the same boat, in different perspectives. And it's crazy that Blair White, since Blair transitioned 9 years ago, has been public fighting this. Before it was the top big issue in the last 3-4 years. And it just
The last 3 or 4 years? This has been a problem for you people for a decade.
shows you how God works in mysterious
God.
ways.
I forgot he was religious. Oh my God, dude. Of course. Yeah, I just keep forgetting.
And how you have somebody that they would love to be their spokesperson.
I forget people believe in God, dude. It's so fucking weird. If you're a Christian, you're actually a psycho.
I haven't asked you this, but I know. I bet you've been reached out to by Hollywood. I bet you've been reached out to by the power structure. You're an articulate, amazing person, a beautiful person.
Dude, he wants to fuck so much.
They would love for you to be their spokesperson, but instead you from day one have not been. And I think inherently at a spiritual level, I realize that God's working through you, and it's an amazing thing. I mean, how do you feel about that statement?
Go.
Well,
All of us are trans. The woke agenda has won. There is nothing left to do but submit.
thank you. I mean, I struggle with my belief in God. I don't know how much I believe in God.
Zero. I can't believe that she is being like half measured on this. I'd be like, nah, dude, Alex, I'm an atheist. I genuinely cannot imagine being this worm-like.
That's a journey I'm kind of on, and I'm actively trying to get there.
I'm actively trying to believe in God so that my right-wing fan base can spend more money on me. Amazing.
But the older I get, the more I do. And the older I get, the more I feel like even though I'm actively choosing, all the things that I do, I've made a choice not to, assimilate to the talking points of the left because it would get me more popularity. And make no mistake, I know for a fact it would, right?
Well, talk about that. I've never asked you, but have you been, I'm sure they've...
It would make you more popular to not be transphobic? I don't know, man.
reached out to you.
Oh, for sure. There's been just things over the years that are, I've been, sort of asked to compromise my values for a lot of things. And I think now it's kind of understood that I'll never do that. I've been very consistent for almost a decade now. But yeah, you know, that's why people think, you know, they call me sometimes a grifter, or that I'm just like, you know, faking my opinions for popularity on the right, as if I wouldn't have 10 times the popularity on the left.
She wouldn't. It's so crazy that she's coping and she thinks that she's a likable individual with good points. She doesn't have anything to say on the subject. She's just a trans girl. There's nothing remarkable about her except that she's a pick-me. That's the only thing she has, is that.
If I had those talking points.
She would be an uncharismatic trans woman. Yep, lots of those. Plenty of them. There's also lots of charismatic trans women. She's just not one of them.
He hosted a national TV show.
I would have maybe 2 or 3 shows on CNN. But
yeah, because of all the trans people on CNN. Ghost Dad oil leak. What? 13 months. Ghost Dad oil leak. Real, or did we make it up? We made it up.
But I would rather die than do that, because I don't want to ever have to mute any part of myself to do that. But, you know, sometimes...
Well, that's it. You could be their ultimate sales lady, but you're not.
Yeah, because that's demented. And again, I struggle with spirituality sometimes, but I that is the devil. I mean, anytime you're pushing kids to hurt themselves, it's like, wow, you know, you're just evil. Right now, my entire purpose is saving the kids from that.
Save the kids!
Because I realized, you know, people say like, well, what about, you know, why are you siding with evil conservatives? Because they're just going to be backlash and take away your, you know, right to transition. And I'm
They literally are.
like, first of all, I already did that, like, transition. And second of all,
So I already got mine? What if they take away someone else's right to do that, Blair? Toss her into the fucking Pacific trash island. She can float on it. She belongs with the Pacific trash flotilla.
well, you could take anything away from me if it means helping a child. And the fact that more people don't have that mentality or that instinctual, like, inclination boggles my mind. And frankly, I don't even really like kids that much. I don't want kids in the future. I don't, like, love when kids are around. You know what I mean? But I still recognize the insane injustice that's being done to them under the guise.
Well, they're stealing their free will because they can't make a decision until they're older.
They don't make a decision. What? No one makes any decisions for kids. Trans kids just want to be called the name they want, and they just want to dress how they want, and they're not doing it when they're toddlers. They're doing it when they're figuring out who they are, and as they approach puberty and go through it, and, like, come on, man. This is just so silly. I'm so tired of this conversation. When we are old, I hope I never have to talk to another fucking transphobe. We're not going to have to do this forever, are we? Can we just normalize real quick? Like, it's so normal to be trans. Let's just get over it. It's really such a Sisyphean task to stop people from expressing themselves. Why do you even give a fuck? They're just expressing themselves, man.
Right. And we seem to understand that in every other area of life, right? Except for this one.
Yeah, can't get cigarettes, can't get alcohol, can't join the military, but you can chop yourself up.
Right. And if a child...
Wait, chop yourself up. You can, in fact, do whatever you want to your own body. Yes. I'm extremist on this. You're extremist free speecher. I'm extremist free liver. I believe in the freedom of expression way more than I believe in, like, limiting people. Like, no one is just chopping their fucking limbs off. No one's chopping off stuff they want on their bodies. If you don't want a piece on your body, get rid of it. Don't care. Irrelevant to me. It's your life.
Can consent to that, what can't they? I mean, there's a hell of a lot better argument for, you know, a 14-year-old to drive a car, but they're just taking it to the next level.
So where
a 14-year-old to drive? 14-year-olds do drive cars with permits. What?
do you? There you are with Roseanne Barr recently. Where do you see this ending? You know, you see the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing, and
the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing. I think they're mad that Dylan's name is Dylan. I really think that they're upset that Dylan Mulvaney's name is Dylan. If her name was like Stacy, they wouldn't give a fuck. They'd be like, Stacy Mulvaney, who cares a fuck? This bitch. Drink fucking Bud Light, who cares?
Anheuser-Busch. I mean, if Anheuser-Busch had you as a spokesman, they probably would have increased their market cap. She'd be like, hey, I love America and I'm trans and don't hate me. That people go, oh, I get that. But it's,
I love America and I'm trans. Please don't hate me is such a good fucking... Wow. What an amazing pro-trans stance. He's just such a fucking dumbass, dude.
Own background.
well, let me see it.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. If I was
Overhead shot. Yeah. So overhead shot, guys. So this is what they probably should have done over at Bud Light, but they didn't do that.
Right.
We're going to go to break. I'm going to try to... What else do you want to hit with? Because this is an amazing interview, Blair. We're so glad you're here. And
This is so fucking gross. It's crazy. You think he'd learn by it? It's crazy that part of being a woman is like, well, now you're constantly sexualized. What was that, Blair? That was a Bud Light picture on her own phone. She has a picture of herself on her own phone of her doing a sassy Bud Light ad. He's a huge chaser. Oh, yeah. Alex Jones is a big-ass chaser, for sure. Maybe that's the title of this video. Alex Jones is a chaser.
Go like, Jones is a hypocrite. He had Blair White on. He hates trans. No, I hate people targeting children, just like you do.
right. You know, it's just.
But I don't feel threatened when I go to sleep at night that you exist. I feel good you exist.
Thank you. I mean, it's at the end of the day, you know, you're
I'm not scared of you when I sleep at night?
either contributing positively to the world or you're not. And what someone does with their own body without pushing it on someone else, it's like, what does that do to anyone but themselves?
Well, I'll go with the spirit. I don't feel threatened by you. I feel good.
Because we're more than this, right?
Exactly.
We are.
We have spirits. And
We have spirits.
I feel good. When I see Bill Gates, I go, I'm going to war.
Right. There's an instinctual, like, oh, that's the devil.
That's the bad guy.
Right.
Ghost Dad oil leak. 10 of them. Sheesh. Give one to Zach Man, Xandrew, Airbud, Region, Cunning Nay, actually, not Cunning Gay. We don't have any of those here. Insipid Lackluster, Mick C, Jollister, Pie Did You Do That, and Val Reeb. Thank you so much, Ghost Dad.
Right. And because we are more than this. I struggle with spirituality, but I do believe we're more than this.
My corn is so moist that it's actually dripping.
It's dripping. It's happening. I can't believe they fucking put it up on a regular one. I got some corn whiskey at the house, so I got spirits. Fuck yeah.
We're gonna get you to
Like the
we're gonna get you on
beacons.
board with Jesus. We'll be right back with Blair White. Stay with us.
We're gonna get more Jesus. Wait, okay, we have 1 minute
Think
left.
about what you wanted to say and say it now.
Okay. You know, in my mind before I came here, I was thinking the main thing I would like to impart on people is individualism. You know, I believe in individualism, not collectivism, and that's how I've lived my life. That's why I'm here, and that's why I can be myself, be a transsexual, but not be part of the trans community.
Be a transsexual. You gotta slip that in if you're one of the grifters. It's just how it works.
Not be part of a movement. I think that everything sort of derails
By the way, you got momentum, chat.
when people start seeing
Got
themselves
momentum.
through a collective and using we as a pronoun, right? Like we should not be a pronoun. You shouldn't ever be talking for, from, or within a group. Speak for yourself.
You can tell she has no friends. You can tell that she's never had a friend group. As an alpha, okay? As an alpha male, okay? I suck down a lot of brain force, but also I am often put in positions of advocating for other people and my friend group, and I often do have to say we. They, ask me to. I have been in many situations where my friends did not want to face confrontation, for instance, and they're like, Jake, handle this. And then I do.
And also understand
We feel.
that, you know, there's nothing political about trans other than the fact that liberals have made it political like they do with every group, you know? Just like they make black political, they make gay political.
Black wasn't made political. They were enslaved and brought here and mistreated for hundreds of years. Yes, it's a political topic that a group of people still has mistreatment.
They make straight white men political. Who we are isn't inherently
No, Jake is the face of the party at every turn.
part of some, you know,
He can't help it.
like
I wish I wasn't.
political football or tribe like that. Who we are should be like
Who we are? Interesting.
closer to our true selves, which
We? Sounds pretty collectivist.
is so much more than all of that.
Anyway, Blair White is really fucking dumb. Alex Jones is even dumber. Wild that you can do that.